And then what I'm hearing is whether it's long-term care, trust, homeowners insurance, it really is an individual, your scenario can play so many different factors on what you decide, what path you decide to go down. So it's important to ask some of these questions because it's not a one-size-fits-all by any stretch of the imagination, right?
But one of the things that when people come in and they want to do trust, they kind of feel like, okay, that's going to protect all my assets from long-term care. If I don't have any of those great products that Andy was just talking about. So there's a 5-year look-back period. A lot of people kind of hear about that, right? From the time that you apply for medical assistance, they will look back 5 years. And if you made any transfers, it's called the clawback period because they can claw back those assets that you transfer. So the only way to really avoid a medical assistance lien is if you give your property away during your lifetime and then wait the 5 years because then it's no longer your property. But like with everything, there's a lot of risks and dangers in doing that because you think about it, if you want to give your real estate, which is one of your primary assets, let's say you want to give that to your children during your lifetime because you think that's a great way to avoid, you know, them, the nursing home taking your real estate. But the issues is you have capital gains on that because the people you give it to, that's not their primary residence, right? So you kind of create a tax liability when they turn around and sell it. But I've been doing this for 20 years and it's amazing how you see things that is like, wow, I didn't see that coming, right? But I've actually had where an elderly couple, they decided they were going to transfer their real estate to their children who were about in their 50s maybe, right? And they decide, yep, we'll just wait that 5-year look-back period. That's our primary asset. That's what we want to leave something to our children. You hear that so much, right? Well, the sad part was the couple were maybe in their late 70s, early 80s, and the child that they transferred the property to during their lifetime ended up having a stroke and going into a nursing home. Well, guess where that real estate went? It went to the son's nursing home care. It's no longer the parent's property. So there's a lot of dangers of doing that. So you really have to kind of sit down and, I always say, talk to your accountant, find out what the capital gains are going to be because they can be really significant, especially when you talk about family farms where, you know, my grandpa bought it for $10,000 and now it's worth millions of dollars. It can really create more harm than good. So you really want to take a look at that.
And maybe you transition to what is referred to as the clawback period or what you alluded to that, but tell us what that is. It's 5 years in Minnesota, is that correct? Or
5 years, it used to be 7.
Okay.
So what that means is if you give your real estate away to your kids, and let's say only 3 years pass before you needed nursing home assistance, basically what they do is they determine what the value of that asset is that you gave away during that 5-year look-back period, and you become ineligible for medical assistance for a period of time in which they calculate that asset could have otherwise been used for your care, okay? So basically you're stuck with private pay.